Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast. It is a new week. Unfortunately, not a Victory Monday, but we're still going to bring all of our analysis, insight, and entertainment to the good Pewter people watching this as we try to wrap our heads around what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing as a football team on offense, defense, and special teams. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is my fellow co-host from PewterReport.com, the face that runs the place at our favorite website, SR, Scott Reynolds. And Scott, we're a little over 24 hours since the Bucs lost 21-3 to the Carolina Panthers. And I still think we have a lot of questions without really understanding the answers, whether it's, at left guard, whether it's what's going on in the secondary with all of the injuries. There's a lot of things to really get into on this show today.
Yeah, there really is. And I feel pretty good about this show too, Matt, if I don't say so myself. I feel like this is probably the best Pewter Report podcast we're going to do. So for everyone that's tuning in, congratulations, you're part of history. It feels pretty good, even though it's not a Victory Monday, even though, we're feeling pretty bad about what's transpired over these last couple of games, especially a pair of losses to one-win football teams in Pittsburgh and in Carolina. Appreciate this comment here. I was going to put this up. It's all right from Willie Beam. And the only thing that's supposed to be 3-4 is our defense. That's good. That's a good comment. That's funny. Appreciate
Nicely
that,
done, Willie. Right off the bat. Liking it. Nice.
Yeah, definitely. So, yes, are there changes coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Well, we can talk about a couple of changes. We can talk about left guard, and we'll talk about offensive coordinator today. And then we'll answer any questions you guys have too. Super chats always catch our attention. Just a little hint, a wink, and a nod. And at the same time, we'll also try to grab some other questions in there. And you might remember we do this thing on Mondays, Matt. We do it around 4:20, where we talk about something, we kind of opine about a topic. And Matt, I'll let you have the floor today for 2-3 minutes so you can educate and entertain us with your brilliant reporting as we do roll call.
Roll call. Where you at, Pewter people? We have so many awesome fans that are kind enough to take time out of your busy day to watch or listen to the Pewter Report podcast. We have awesome people in the chat. Giovanni, I see you with that $5 super chat. We'll get to you in just a moment. But we want to know where 420. You guys...
That's 420. Yeah.
At 420, we want to know where you guys are watching from, because we have awesome fans all over, whether it's the state of Florida, the United States of America, but we got great international fans as well, from Brazil to England, Germany, all over the place. Finland as well. So we want to know where you guys are watching from. Put it in the comment here, kind of like just what Damien did, but do it at 420. Don't do it just yet, but let us know where you're watching from. We'll put it up on the screen as we get into the show and our rants. So looking forward to that. And of course, man, there's so many things to really get into. And, before we put up Giovanni's comment, again, appreciate you, Giovanni. Let's talk a little bit about Celsius, the presenting sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast. Doesn't matter if you're in a bad mood right now because of how the Bucs are playing. You have a Celsius, it'll boost your mood because it gives you that boost of essential energy. 7 essential vitamins in these Celsius energy drinks. It's the healthy version of an energy drink. No, sugar crashes later on. Keeps you going throughout the whole day for a work day, a workout, whatever it may be. Of course, the flavors are fantastic. As you see on the screen here, you got the Arctic, tropical, and peach vibes. There's also sparkling kiwi guava, sparkling orange, sparkling grapefruit, sparkling peach mango as well, which is fantastic. And of course, where can you get these Celsius energy drinks? Go to their website, click on the store locator, find out where you can get one near you. There's got to be a bodega nearby, or a gas station, or convenience store. You can go there. Bodega. But if you don't want to go to your nearest bodega, that's all right, because you can go on Amazon, save some money, and have it sent straight to your house or apartment. You can set it up.
Subscribe and save.
Subscribe and save. It's very easy to do. It's very convenient as well, just as long as you're drinking Celsius energy drinks. That's Celsius, #LiveFit. Celsius, the presenting sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast. Let's get to that super chat from our friend Giovanni. Really appreciate it. Let me find it here. Giovanni is venting, and you know what? If you want to vent, that's totally cool. We'll put it up on the screen as well. He says, horrible loss. Only silver lining is that the rest of the NFC, except the East, have their major issues as well.
That's right.
I trust TB12 to turn it around, hopefully. That's a really good point. I mean, if we just look at the NFC South division in itself, everyone's dead right now. Like, Panthers just beat the Bucs, but I don't think the Panthers are really going anywhere this season.
Right.
Saints are an absolute mess. And the Falcons, who seem to be the one team that has a chance against the Bucs to win the division. Obviously, the Bucs beat them a couple of weeks ago. Their last victory so far this season. They got smacked around by the Bengals yesterday. So it's clearly a wide open division. And I saw some people online in the chats, everywhere, being like, we should start tanking to get a better draft pick because Brady's going to leave. We should start trading players. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that should be the case. You're still in first place, even though you have a atrocious 3-4 record after losing back-to-back to one-win teams. You're still fighting to make the playoffs. It's not over yet.
It's not over.
Sky is falling a little bit right now, but it hasn't completely crashed into
it might fall a little more on Thursday. We'll see. I'm just saying, it's like, I'm done picking the Buccaneers to win. I'm just going to say that. I mean, they're going to lose to the Ravens. Mark it down. And I hope that, Murphy's Law kicks in and they end up winning because I said the opposite. So, but yeah, it's bad. Listen, as Todd Bowles said yesterday, it's a dark day, and it's not today because today, they got back to work. The good news is what we learned is they're not going to have any practices this week whatsoever. It's going to be walkthroughs. So no players are going to get injured this week. Hopefully, knock on wood, unless something happens in the walkthrough. So they're a little banged up right now, especially in the secondary, Matt. You've got what we figured was going to be the case. Antoine Winfield going to miss this game. He's got a concussion. It didn't happen on this play right there, but there's Winfield. And so he's going to be out. You've already got Logan Ryan out. Carlton Davis probably out. Sean Murphy-Bunting will be out. So that's a lot of defensive backs. That's a lot of good talent right there. A lot of those guys contributed to the big win in New Orleans and contributed with some takeaways, Matt. And that's one thing that has been scarce over the past 3 games. As a matter of fact, the Buccaneers have not recorded a takeaway for 3 straight games after starting off the year so hot in that department. That's something that absolutely has to change, because that could be the spark. That could be the momentum turning thing that you could set up the offense in a short field. I don't know, score on a pick 6, get some interceptions.
Might be the only way they'll reach the end zone.
The Mike Edwards way, exactly, with the pick 6. So, yeah, I'm with you. That's something that has to change. I did see a comment in here I want to get to that because we have a couple of videos to show you here. It should show and tell today. Let me find it here. It was. Why don't they run? I was going to say, why don't they run on quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1? That was what it was. I can't find out those. I'll put it up. But let's just go to a little video clip here, and because we're going to talk about Luke Goedeke, and we're going to talk about Nick Leverett, and we're going to get into that in a second from what happened at the press conference. But this is kind of an idea of why they don't run quarterback sneaks, right? Just look at Goedeke, left guard, Robert Hainsey, the center, Shaq Mason, the right guard here. And this, of course, is 3rd and 1. And you see the penetration. They just don't have any power in the interior. There's no Ryan Jensen. There's no Ali Marpet. I'm going to play it again. This is 3rd and 1 at Carolina. Remember, they tried the 3rd and 1 quarterback sneak in Pittsburgh and got stuffed. Very similar thing. They just can't get any movement, right? I like Shaq Mason as a guard. He's 305, maybe 310. He's not 6'6", 325 pounds like Alex Kappa. Ryan Jensen's a tone setter. He's 325 pounds. Robert Hainsey's about 15 pounds lighter. Goedeke is a rookie. He does not get off the ball as fast as Ali Marpet. Watch the play again. You can just see this is 3rd and 1, and they even tried to run behind Shaq Mason and Tristan Wirfs, but the backside just collapses. Nobody blocks Shaq Thompson. Look at Shaq Thompson, number 7 on this play, right? He's going to come here. Kate Otten and O'Keefe are going to double team the edge. And then you've got Shaq Thompson, who literally just comes around and says, "Oh, hey, Lenny, what's up? You're not going to get this first down." And, that's it. One more thing we'll look at the backside of this play. Look at Kyle Rudolph, number 8, on the very left of your screen here. Okay, you got to make this block for the backside. Just doesn't have the speed. His guy knifes in. Goedeke's guy blows him up. It's a cluster, what. So
and that's the scary part, is that they wanted to run it to the right side.
They did.
You called out Byron.
They listened.
They wanted to run it. They listened, but still the backside could not execute. Whether it was Kyle Rudolph, whether it was Luke Goedeke, and the Bucs lined up a lot with 3 tight ends on the field, and
it doesn't work. It doesn't make
prove
sense.
Anything.
Let's watch it one more time. We're going to quickly count the Panthers in the picture. I already know the answer, but we're going to do it anyways together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 Panthers within what? Outside of the free safety, there's 10 Panthers within 5 yards of Leonard Fournette. Okay, you don't have the power to run power. You don't. Okay, and at this point, why not go 4 wide receivers, get teams out of goal line or base defense, go to nickel, go to dime, right, and try to spread these guys out, and then have your 240-pound back run up against a light box, or have Rashad White, who's more slippery with better vision, find a crease. But when they're boxing everything and getting it all condensed, it's actually aiding the defense. They've been trying this week after week after week, and that's why I called for Byron Leftwich to be fired, because the same problems that we've seen, Matt, dating back to the preseason, have plagued this team. Short yardage, third downs, red zone, lack of scoring. When you go from 31 points against Kansas City to 21 points against Atlanta to 18 points against a 1-win Pittsburgh team and 3 points against a 1-win Carolina team, that's not progress. As I said last night on the show, I want to know where the invisible progress is that Byron Leftwich is seeing that we're not seeing. Because remember in the press conference, he's like, I see it, but y'all don't see it, but I see it. And I'm like, well, tell me where this invisible progress is. Because all I see is the scoreboard, going down on every Sunday. I mean, the only thing left, because you can't go negative, they won't let you have negative points. The only thing left is a goose egg on Thursday night. I hope to God that doesn't happen. But I mean, we're trending that way.
Byron saying that, the invisible progress, as he talked about, that's like if you're going into a job interview and they're like, what ideas would you have for the company? You say, I have a couple of great ideas that you guys will absolutely love. And they're like, all right, let's hear it. And you're like, well, you got to hire me first before I give you the, the ideas. It's like, all right, you're saying all this, but it means absolutely nothing, because we're not seeing them getting better. And I don't want to hear, Todd Bowles has mentioned this before, like last week, guys had a great week of practice. They're really practicing hard, and it's just not translating from practice into the game. You absolutely cannot have that anymore. It's never acceptable, but especially now, again, losing to these 2 1-win teams. And then you look at, we've been calling it for weeks now to please spread out the offense, make the defense put another nickel corner or just take a linebacker or a defensive tackle off the field, and they're not doing it. You said yesterday the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well, right now the Bucs offense is insane, and not in the good way of like, this team is insane. They are scoring points,
scoring crazy points, right?
Yeah, dude, it's insane. No, they are like need a lobotomy type of like just not working right now, and it's really frustrating because
it is.
They have the talent on this team, even with like a banged up like Chris Godwin, who's clearly not 100%.
Right.
When you still have Mike and Chris, you should be able to move the ball and score efficiently and score in the red zone. And it's been the same thing from week 1 to week 7 going week. And you said in the locker room today, we were like, oh my God, like we're already halfway through the season. This season is starting to fly by, and we've seen no changes from the offense. It's been all regression, as you pointed out, with all the points. And we haven't really seen too many changes with the defense. You could argue the defense has gotten worse as the calendar moves along. And it's supposed to be the other way around. You're supposed to be okay, so-so in September. And then October, November is when you really kick it into high gear. But this team is just in reverse at the moment.
No, you're right. It is, and it's disappointing. And again, I'm just looking at this realistically about the defense, and I'm not making excuses. And even Todd Bowles said today, because I kind of asked him about it. I kind of gave him the floor and see, did your defense try to get out there and just make something happen and kind of play hero ball and get out of some gaps and all that? And he basically just said, no, it's like, we just got to play all 4 quarters. And they really do. But football, Matt, is complementary. And I've been on enough teams coaching or playing to where when your defense is just giving up 7 every single time and the offense goes, oh, my God, crap, we got to go out there again and score another friggin' touchdown. Like, we can't stop anybody. It's demoralizing. And it's demoralizing the other way, too. When you're out there getting stops, and all of a sudden the offense goes out there 3 and out and they got to punt the ball and they're not getting any points. And all of a sudden, right before halftime, it's 7-0. The defense is like, man, like, what is going on here? Like, can we buy some points? Can we bribe somebody? I mean, it's demoralizing and it's not good. Complementary football is offense goes out and scores, defense goes out and either gets a stop or takes the ball away, gives the ball back to the offense, they score again. That's the ideal thing. And this is just not happening at all. There is no complementary football in Tampa right now.
None. And we have that hero ball question loaded up. So we will play that right now from Todd Bowles. Then he also gives an injury update as well.
Yep. Rather than make a tackle. Did you see any of that on film where guys are trying to play a little bit hero ball rather than sticking to their assignments and playing sound fundamental football and defense?
No, I didn't. It's a team game. We don't pit offense against defense regardless of what we do, whether the offense is playing well and the defense isn't or vice versa. We win as a team, we lose as a team. We could have done some things defensively to help us win. We could have done some things offensively to help us win.
Are there any updates on some of the guys that got injured in the game? Antoine, Russell, any updates there?
Winfield has a concussion, so he'll be in the protocol, likely to be out. The other one's coming around, we'll see. Russell's got to get his MRI back, so we'll see what happens there.
Your third down offense.
I can't even blame the Bucs defense for like wanting to try to be a game breaker or take the game over, or at least take the ball away, because when the offense is doing what they're doing, as you pointed out, we talked about it yesterday. They were down 7-0. It felt like 75-0. And so, and they're not going to get it done on special teams unless Ryan Suckup turns into an MVP return man, but they're not going to like make a splash play with Jalen Darden returning. So it's going to be on the defense to do something heroic, no pun intended, to the question itself.
Right.
But neither side is really helping each other out. No matter how you slice it, what way you look at it, it's just bad football all around, really, is what it is.
Yeah, it is. And I like the fact that they at least kind of, understood that Luke Goedeke does not need to be the starter every down. Now, I mean, we saw them platoon Luke Goedeke and Nick Leverett. And I'm going to show you a great block by Nick Leverett. This is Rachaad White's run up the middle, right behind Leverett. I mean, this is what it's supposed to look like, folks. This is Nick Leverett, number 60, left guard, right here. Watch the double team with Haynes. He gets to the next level, seals him, and then gets to the linebacker and seals him. This is quick. This is athletic. This is like right off the bat, boom, boom. And 29 just follows 60 right through the hole, right? It's a nice big game. Let's watch it one more time here. And I don't know why the coaches don't see that Nick Leverett is better than Luke Goedeke and stick with him. And maybe they will. Maybe it'll take one more game. I know they're committed to Luke. At some point in time, though, you've got to say, we want to develop this guy, but it can't be at the expense of our offense. And right now it kind of is. It's not that Luke Goedeke is the only problem on Tampa Bay's offense, but he's been a big problem.
It's a glaring one. It's a really glaring problem that you see it multiple times, and how it's hurting this team in more ways than one. And I just don't understand what we're all missing. Like, what is the coaching staff seeing outside of Luke Goedeke is a second-round pick and we have to, develop him?
Matt, I feel a rant coming on from you, and it's a perfect time for that, because it is time. It's 4:20 on Monday, and every Monday we do it at 4:20. It is time for
roll call. Tell us where you're at, Pewter people, everyone in the chat. comment here. Tell us where you're watching from, whether it's here in Florida, maybe it's over on the West Coast, maybe it's international. Start putting in the comments where you are watching the Pewter Report podcast from. I'll start talking about this offensive line situation at left guard, and Scott will put the comments up on the screen as we get into it. We'll play video a little bit too. Scott had asked Todd Bowles about who's going to be starting at left guard for Thursday night's game against the Ravens. I asked about the continuity of the offensive line because the Bucs, I don't know why they decided to do this thing with Luke Goedeke and Nick Leverett, switching guys in and out. At first, we thought it was for an injury. We found out later that Luke Goedeke did get a little banged up, but clearly he wasn't so banged up that he couldn't play the rest of the game. But as I was saying before, I don't understand what we're missing that the Bucs, coaching staff sees where Luke Goedeke has to get back into that game. Nick Leverett got a PFF grade, and let's just say PFF isn't the end-all be-all of everything, but their stats are important trying to help out context and figure out certain things. Nick Leverett had a grade of over 80. Luke Goedeke had a failing grade once again. It's not the first time that's happened to him this season. You just saw the video right there that Scott played where Nick Leverett does a great job of getting his man at the line of scrimmage, going up to the second level, going up against that defender, and it helps spring Rachaad White into that second level, which we didn't see too much of. I don't want to hear, they have to develop Luke Goedeke. Because you know what? I don't care if Luke Goedeke develops and it takes him a while and the Bucs keep losing every single week. What would you rather have? Nick Leverett in the game and the team continues to win, or the team continues to score 3 points, 18 points, less than 20, less than their tops of the league last year, 30 points per game? Would you rather them continue to look like they do right now just so Luke Goedeke can get a couple of reps and his feelings don't get hurt? No. You need to have Nick Leverett in the game, and it's even worse if you're going to put one in, take one out, do the hokey pokey, put in another left guard. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Even though I don't want it to be Goedeke, stick to one or the other. Yeah. Don't go back and forth. It's bad for the entire offensive line. How do you build continuity that way? And sure, you could say, well, it's just like if a person gets injured. Well, you have different things going on where you communicate even when you're not on the field. When you go back to the bench and you say, hey, this guy's running this play, or hey, if they stunted to the right side, you got to do this, or whatever it is. There's always constant communication going on. It's easier when it's just the left guard and the left tackle, Donovan Smith. It's a lot tougher when Leverett's in, when Goedeke's in, and they keep going back and forth. And Leverett talked about it too, where he said it's kind of a challenge when you have guys keep going in and out. It just can't happen. And to play both of these guys is just asinine. You don't see it around the rest of the league. Right? It's not like the running back position where you can get both guys on the field at the same time. It's just not the case. And saying, well, it was a close competition, so we're going to keep this competition going in the middle of the season, when right now your season's on the line because, heads are going to roll if they put up a similar
pick one
Thursday night. Yeah, pick one. Flip a coin for all I care.
I'm going to go with Nick Leverett right now. I'm just going to say I'm going to give him a shot, but that's not the case. The other thing too is Goedeke had a walking boot on after the game, so he got nicked up. And what Todd Bowles said today, the story's up on pewterreport.com, was he's going to start Goedeke if he can go, and then rotate Leverett in and make sure that you are checking out our content. We've had a lot of great content up this year and this week. Pewterreport.com, best Bucs coverage, my 2-point conversion, Matt, your snap count analysis, Bucs Monday mailbag. Paul Atwell had some great observations from the game last night. Most impressive, most disappointing from the game. A ton of content coming your way this week on a very short week. We've got Byron Leftwich tomorrow. Ooh. And Tom Brady. And you want to make sure you follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And, of course, here on YouTube, Pewter Report TV. Make sure that you are subscribed to Pewter Report TV and that you're liking all of our videos, because when you hit the like button on all of our videos, whether it's the press conference clips Matt puts up, the Tuesday touchbacks with JC, the Pewter Report podcasts, all of those things. When you do the thumbs up, it helps our algorithm, helps us get in front of more awesome Pewter people like you guys. We greatly appreciate it.
Let's hear Todd Bowles with that question about the starting left guard position and just all the chaos that has come with it.
Yeah.
And what's the plan for Thursday at the left guard spot?
We're both very physical. Both were neck and neck going training camp going into the season. Obviously, Luke wanted out. Leverett's earned some playing time, so we started getting him some in there. Luke was nicked up a little bit as well, so we got Leverett a little more time. But they both fought hard and played hard. We just got to get better.
Which one at this point in time, and maybe it depends on how Luke's injury is, but are you leaning towards on Thursday?
Well, Luke's injury is fine. He'll start, but Leverett will play.
Other video as well, Bowles talking about the continuity. If there's a concern about moving these guys in and out, if that could be an issue for the offensive line. It starts with a question about Rachaad White, but you know what? Fans love Rachaad White too. So.
They do.
An increased role, or even making him running back one at this point.
He's not running back one, but he should get some more plays. We've always talked about it every week. He does some good things with the ball in his hand. He does some good things when he's out there. Obviously, Leonard's a great running back as well, so we got to find a happy medium and have both of them touch the ball.
Todd, it's one thing if you're taking a player out because of injury, but are there any concerns if you keep switching at left guard that it could hurt the continuity of the offensive line?
Not at this time. Not at this time. We're trying some things that we think can work for us, and I don't think it will.
Todd, the last three.
Some things that I think will work for us.
Yeah.
How many other teams rotate in their left guard?
Well, I remember last year the Falcons rotated in their center, right, in that Atlanta game, and because they had two centers and they were putting each guy in there, which is the craziest thing. I mean, if you're going to rotate somebody, make it a guard, I get it. But
yeah, center is the worst idea.
Yeah, they started having bad snaps and all that because you want that continuity. That just was baffling. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of the rotation on the offensive line. I'm with you. Pick one. I would go with Nick Leverett at this stage of the game. And again, nothing against Luke Goedeke. I'm not damning Luke Goedeke. I'm not saying he's a bust. It's just hearing him last week, Matt, talk about the challenges, the struggles he's having going from right tackle to left guard, where everything is opposite. Footwork, hand placement, punch, right? I mean, he's right-handed, so he has to punch with his weaker hand, right? And Robert Hainsey, who's starting at center now due to the injury to Ryan Jensen, had the entire year to benefit from a red shirt where he didn't have to play. I think they put him in for a total of 30 snaps a couple snaps at the end of the Bears game or the Dolphins game, right? These blowouts. So he was at the end of the Carolina game in week 18 last year, right? Getting a handful of snaps here and there, getting his feet wet. But Matt Hainsey had a full year development behind the scenes without the pressure having to go out there and go against Pro Bowlers. And they're not doing that for Goedeke. And it's like, I know that they have a second round pick invested in him and they want to get a return on investment and they want this guy to develop. And that's going to happen more so on the field than on the sidelines. I get that. But at the same point in time, if you said it was that close with Nick Leverett, right? And that's Todd Bowles' words. Right. It was neck and neck. Okay, well, one guy is the worst guard in the NFL, and that's Luke Goedeke. So maybe give the other guy a shot and see if he's better. And I liked what I saw from Nick Leverett on Sunday, and I want to see more.
And Goedeke even said last week that, the change from the right to the left side and all the different punches, as you mentioned, he started writing with his left hand because he thought it would make himself a little more comfortable. And it reminds me of something Tristan Wirfs said about a week or two prior to that. They asked him, because obviously Tristan plays right tackle, but people in the past have said, why don't they move him to left tackle? He's their all-pro player. And Tristan said it's so different going from one side to the other. It's like if you just started wiping your ass with your other hand, right? You don't normally do it with. I was like, wow, that's a very detailed explanation there, but it kind of makes sense. Shout out to Leo. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says the worst thing you can do for an O-line is rotate players. I have massive issues with what Bowles said today. Bowles is showing zero accountability.
I think he's being accountable. He's not running from the challenges that they have. At the same time, too, you have to understand something. This is an organization, okay? This is as much Todd Bowles' team, but it's also Jason Light's team. Jason Light is the general manager. It's his team. He hired Todd Bowles, right? So these are players that Jason picks and Todd coaches, and Todd has some say-so in this. And I'm not trying to give Todd a pass. Don't misconstrue what I'm going to say. Todd Bowles came on the scene as the head coach on March 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the big switcheroo. Matt, you and I were down in West Palm Beach getting ready to talk to Bruce Arians at the NFL owners meeting. He wasn't there. He was there. He went home. Then the next day we come home, we find out, oh, there's going to be a head coaching change. He's retiring. All of a sudden, Todd Bowles is the guy. Matt, that happened on March 30th, 2 weeks after the start of free agency. Okay. And yes, Todd Bowles has coached with these coaches before. It's all been part of the staff. I'm not sure, certainly now, if Todd Bowles necessarily wants all these coaches, especially on offense. We'll see. Let's talk a little bit about this because, I didn't ask Todd Bowles today about Byron Leftwich and all of that because I got some intel that they're not going to make a change this week. Now, that change might happen. If it's going to, the time to do it is after the Thursday night game, right? It's just creating too much chaos. It would be like, putting a little bomb in the locker room, right? Oh, we've got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens coming in essentially 4 days. Oh, and by the way, we're changing offensive coordinators. It makes more sense if you're going to do it. If you're Todd Bowles and you're going to do that, to do it after the Ravens game and give Byron maybe one more shot to see if he can conjure up more points than 3 or 18 or enough to beat the Ravens. But then, Matt, you have a couple days, right? Because you have that essential mini bye weekend to have this person come in. And you can't make any wholesale changes. It's going to be tweaks and play sequencing, right? The playbook's not going to change. But some of the candidates, right? If you're going to make that particular move, who would be some of those candidates? Well, the in-house guys are, you look at Harold Goodwin, right? He's the assistant head coach. He's the run game coordinator. It's probably not going to be him because the run game is the thing that's not working well at all right now.
32nd in the NFL. So,
I think that's bad. I'm mad. Correct me if I'm wrong. The math 32. Yeah, that's bad. 32.
Yeah.
All right. So probably not going to be him. Then you've got Clyde Christensen, right? This is the quarterback's coach, a longtime Bruce Arians assistant, dating back to Indianapolis days. He has play calling experience in Miami, was offensive coordinator in Indianapolis, with Tom Moore was there. And then you've got the 2001 season when he got his first offensive play calling role in Tampa Bay when Tony Dungy threw a lifeline his way. And that didn't really work out too well, right? So Clyde Christensen, but he does have the rapport with Tom Brady as the quarterback's coach. So there's that. But then you have to look at it if you're Todd Bowles. Is he part of the problem? Is he in lockstep with Byron Leftwich? Is this going to be more of the same, right? Mm-hmm. Kevin Garver is a guy we've talked about a lot. If Bruce Arians, if Byron Leftwich was the head coach in Jacksonville, if he would have left this offseason, there's a good chance Kevin Garver might have been that guy to be the offensive coordinators. The wide receivers coach, he's an up-and-coming guy, very well thought of by Bruce Arians for sure. Now, Bruce isn't the coach anymore. See, that's a different story here, right? So Kevin Garver is another guy that would probably be considered the wild card in all of this. We've talked about him before too, because Bruce Arians also spoke very highly of Thad Lewis. He's the assistant wide receivers coach, right? So the thing with Thad Lewis that's interesting, he's a former NFL backup quarterback, played quarterback at Duke, very smart guy, very cerebral guy, maybe almost kind of like the Todd Bowles on the offensive side, just super smart, very observant guy. He's newer to the team. That might work in his advantage because you've got all these guys, Garver and Leftwich, and Christensen, that have been in this Bruce Arians system and scheme. And of course, everybody there, even Thad Lewis, knows the plays, right? They know the playbook, and you're not going to deviate from it too much. But when we're talking about imagination and creativity and some of those new wrinkles that you can install during the week that really aren't being installed, maybe if Bowles wants to go in a completely different direction for a fresher perspective, he goes with Thad Lewis. So those are kind of the options. Lewis, Christensen, right? Tom Moore's too old. He's not going to be the guy. Bruce is not going to come out of retirement. We talked about Christensen. and then the other guy is Harold Goodwin, right? I mean, those are probably the likely candidates. We'll see if Todd Bowles makes a change. We'll see what happens on Thursday. If this team comes out and puts 30 points on the board all of a sudden, then Todd Bowles might press the pause button and say, maybe we're figuring this thing out. We'll have to see.
There were a lot of choices there. Another thing that you could have a lot of choices at is deciding which Pirate Republic beer you would like to drink. Of course, Pirate Republic is the official beer of PewterReport.com. They're based out of Nassau, Bahamas. And they're invading Florida just in time for the football season. Beer brings people together to celebrate life. That means celebrating life in the spirit of the original pirate code. That's a sense of belonging. Pirate Republic is a community of people living life on their terms. The Long John Pilsner is perfect for tailgating or having fun at the beach in the Florida sun. Take No Quarter is the best IPA you'll drink. Or you could drop an orange slice and Golden Haze piracy with beer and enjoy that pirate life. Pirate Republic beer is available at participating retailers like Total Wine and More, Lucan's Liquors, Party Liquors, and select ABC liquor stores in the greater Tampa Bay area. It's expanding across the state of Florida. Live life on your terms and drink like a pirate with Pirate Republic beer. As Scott is showing the different drinks on the screen here. That's the Golden Haze Belgian Golden Haze Piracy Belgian Wit.
Yep.
And listen, you can't go wrong with either one. I personally, my favorite is the Long John Pilsner. But like I said, I'm good with any of them. So make sure
I drank all three yesterday.
Yeah.
I had one of each. I needed one of each.
Yeah, needed to.
Yeah.
But
listen, folks. I was going to say this. There's a big display at the Wesley Chapel with Pewter Report and Pirate Republic. Go in there and try some beer. I know sometimes we get caught up in the I'm a Bud guy, I'm a Blur guy, whatever, and that's okay, right? But I mean, you could have your favorites. I've got my new favorite's Pirate Republic. That's for damn sure. But I understand if you have your steady beer, your go-to brew. I get it, but try Pirate Republic. All three are absolutely amazing. And I will say this, we've had over the years some local breweries that wanted to partner up with us to be the official beer of Pewter Report. And if I'm being honest, I didn't like their beer and I couldn't get behind it. And Matt, I'm not putting any words in your mouth. You're not paid to say this, but you love Pirate Republic. Matter of fact, our entire staff does. I get asked all the time.
I'm a huge fan.
When do we get more Pirate Republic? So I have more Pirate Republic. So
my eyes lit up a couple of weeks ago. I was in Ybor at New York Pizza, and I saw the fridge, and I saw the Long John Pills there. My eyes lit up. I was like, get one of those, and I got it for everyone that I was with. So make sure you check that out, Pirate Republic, the official beer of PewterReport.com. But to get back to the coaching candidates that you were just talking about. Yeah, on paper, like the Clyde Christensen connection with Tom Brady, like absolutely would make sense. He's the one that's closest with Tom Brady. But I hear what you're saying about the fact that, well, how different would Clyde be from what we're getting from Byron Leftwich? I think today's NFL, the schemes are a lot different. And obviously, Clyde knows the offense right now. But when he was calling plays, you mentioned 2001, that was a long time ago.
Right.
So you see now with the NFL, different schematics and, younger up and coming offensive coordinators. And you kind of could say, well, Byron's kind of a young and up and coming, offensive coordinator. But if it doesn't work out with him, maybe you go to a Thad Lewis, someone that no one would really expect and has seen different offenses. That's something that I don't think necessarily hurt the Bucs right now because the offense that they're running, and I'm fine with Kevin Garver too, as you said, probably would have been the guy if Byron went to Jacksonville.
Right.
If you want to go with one of those two guys, at least it's a different look, seeing a different offense that other teams wouldn't expect. You mentioned you were on Ronnie and T-Crabs before, and you were asked about on the fourth down, they ran the pitch to Leonard Fournette, and they didn't convert it. They got stopped.
Right.
And you said, well, they did it the week before against the Steelers, so that's why the Panthers were ready for it.
Right.
They just need to maybe not completely toss out the playbook, but you need to throw in different wrenches, wrinkles, whatever you want to call it, things that teams have not seen before because the scouting department, which Larry Foote talked about, gets paid millions of dollars.
Right.
The scouting departments of other teams are seeing exactly what Tampa Bay is doing, and they're not mixing it up enough. A little counter here and there isn't enough of mixing it up to move the ball down the field because it clearly hasn't worked.
I agree. Craig Kurtzman, $4.99 super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the super chats we've had today and also last night. Scott, is this situation now at Glazier level where they will force the hand of Todd? No TB12 next year makes renewals tough and a new stadium on the horizon. I'll say this: the Glaziers and the Buccaneers, they roped in new season ticket holders to get 2 years worth of tickets. So you're going to get 1 year of Tom and 1 year of Kyle, Blaine, Lamar Jackson next year. I don't know. I think they're going to make a big play for Lamar Jackson next year. I really do.
Why not? He's an electric player. By the way, one last thing I want to say about Byron Leftwich, he's coaching for his job this week. He, without question, is coaching for his job. And if they had a Sunday game, he might not be in the building right now. So this is his last opportunity. It could be wild. If they score 40, 45 points, that saves Byron Leftwich.
Yeah,
but
you live to fight another day. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So no one is more excited about a Thursday night game than Byron Leftwich this week.
Right. And to the point about the Glaziers, no, the Glaziers are impatient owners. I've probably pointed that out more than anybody in media. But if you look at their track record, right? I mean, and let's put some things in perspective. 2 best coaches in franchise history, not including Bruce Arians, because he was only here for 3 years. Technically he's the best. He's got the best winning percentage. He won a Super Bowl in 1 out of 3 years. That's a pretty good ratio, right? So Arians aside, let's look at Tony Dungy, who was fired after going 10-6 and making playoffs for the 3rd straight year. Okay, so he got fired right after that record. John Gruden went 9-7, and the Bucs went in free fall when Monte Kiffin decided to coach with Lane Kiffin at Tennessee. The defense went south. The record went souther, if that's a word. Went from 9-3 to 9-7. 4 straight losses in the December to remember. And he and Bruce Allen had just signed 4-year contract extensions. So the Glaziers chewed up a ton of money. They paid Bruce and John millions of dollars not to coach and be the general manager. So again, these are the Glaziers we're talking about. Like, they will fire you for winning seasons, right? That's what's happened. And Gruden, let's not forget, also got them their first Super Bowl. Fast forward to Raheem Morris, the guy that replaced John. He was fired after 3 seasons. His replacement, Greg Schiano, was fired after 2 seasons. Lovie Smith got 2 seasons and he was fired. And they even gave Lovie Smith a 2nd year after his first year was 2-14. He was replacing Greg Schiano, who in 2013 went 4-12. So Lovie Smith won half the games, 2-14, yet he still got a 2nd year, even though the Buccaneers didn't win a single home game during Lovie Smith's first year. Okay, so he got 2 years. Dirk Cutter got 3 years. So my point is, I don't think they're going to make Todd Bowles a one-and-done coach unless the Buccaneers simply don't win another game this year. They'd have to be in total free fall, kind of like what Raheem Morris went through in 2011. Complete free fall. Started off 4-1, then lost every single game after that. So that would have to be the situation for Bowles to get fired. They'll get Bowles next year. It'll start the year on the hot seat. And if, I'm guessing he would make some coaching changes to the offensive side at that time. So we'll see. He's going to be around. I don't think that the play caller is going to be the same for the rest of this year and probably not next year as well.
Yeah, we shall see. And of course, with Bowles, there is still time to turn it around too. Like they are.
There is. But,
if they end up going on a 4-game winning streak, that changes a lot. Winning cures a lot.
Yeah. The thing too is, as we've seen it before, the Carolina Panthers, I think, were the last NFC South team, and I want to say they were 7-9. And I remember which year it was, but they won the division with the 7-9 record. And we've seen the Seahawks also win the NFC West back in the day, 7-9. It might be an 8-9 record that wins this division. But until the NFL makes some changes, and I think they need to, but the thing is 8-9, if that's the winning record for the division, that gets you a home playoff game. Shouldn't be that way, I don't think, because more than likely you're going to have like a 11-win team coming to see you that's probably better than you. I think the NFL has got to really readjust things. It shouldn't be so much of an emphasis on winning the division for an automatic playoff spot, because you can have these fluky, faulty years where you have a team with a losing record winning the division and getting a home playoff game, while maybe a 10-7 team, gets left out of the playoffs. I don't know.
Look at the 2020 season when they won the Super Bowl. They played Washington in the first week, or the first playoff game. I don't remember what Washington's record was, but it wasn't as good as Tampa Bay's record. Right. And they went in there and defeated them. I think the rule change, you either have to get rid of, the divisions as it is, or at least just put in a rule, if the division winner has a worse record than the wild card team, then the wild card team gets the home game. If you want to keep the divisions, and it's like the division champ gets into the playoffs, but yeah, I'm with you. If
you nailed it,
the wild card team is better.
Yeah,
just switch it.
Yeah.
It's a simple switch. You don't have to do too much to it.
I agree. Because you're rewarding the team for winning the division. There's still that reward then, right? It's you won the division, you make the playoffs, right? Maybe at the expense of some other team, but you don't get the home game if in that matchup, right? With the seeding, if that matchup means you're bringing in a team that has a better record than you, it would default to that other team. And I think what that does too is that rewards teams for having better records, right? Shouldn't it be that way? I think it should.
Yeah, right? Yeah, without question.
Harvinder asked, Scott, what are you going to ask Leftwich in the press conference tomorrow? I'm going to ask about spreading out teams, why they keep going into bunch formations. Bunch, that's not the right word. The defense is getting all bunched up. They're going in heavy jumbo formations in too many short yardage situations, like this one right here, where you see all of the Buccaneers in your screen, and you see all the Panthers defenders in your screen. And they're just not creating any movement up front. And we've seen this way too many times. This was on 3rd and 1, and of course 4th and 1 wasn't much better. Tried a little toss outside, it didn't work. I'm going to ask him about that and trying to get some spacing going up against lighter boxes on 3rd and 1. And also too, it gives, where's Mike Evans, right? I mean, that's an important down, right? That's a 3rd down, Matt. I'd like to see Mike Evans on the field, and maybe throw him a pass or something. So I'm asking him that. I'm asking him what the thinking is and rotating the guards rather than just giving it to Nick Leverett, because he was the better guard in his limited amount of snaps on Sunday in Carolina. And, we'll see. No logic, I guess.
No logic. I want some good money this week, and I told everyone to smash Mike Evans over 4.5 receiving catches and over 66.5 receiving yards. I did that, of course, on Underdog Fantasy, the another sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast that we absolutely love. Underdog is the easiest way to get some action on the NFL. That's with their pick'em game. You just pick over or under on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. You pick between 2 and 5 players, fill out your pick'em slip or the rival slip as well. That's always fun. Get every pick right, take home some cold, hard cash. Use the promo code Pewter, P-E-W-T-E-R, and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog Fantasy. Even if you learn from Plant City Math, that's a pretty good deal. You can win up to 20 times what your bet is. Again, use the promo code Pewter at MyBookie and of course at Underdog. And of course, there is a game. Listen, it's not the best Monday Night Football game. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but that's why you go to Underdog. You make these picks, and it makes the game way more interesting. So I'm going to tell you guys what I'm picking tonight for Underdog. I already picked it, but the game is tonight. Feel free to ride with me. Feel free to fade me if you think I'm an idiot and you think I'm wrong. Go against me. But again, it's Patriots against the Bears, not the greatest matchup of all time. Here's what I'm going with. I made 4 picks, so I can win 10 times my money with this one. I'm doing Justin Fields higher than 8 rushing attempts. I'm doing Darnell Mooney lower than 45.5 receiving yards.
I like it.
I'm doing Mac Jones lower than 28.5 passing attempts. And I'm taking former Buccaneer great Nick Folk higher than 1.5.
Buccaneer great.
The
kicker. That's right. Yeah. He was really bad.
I just think, the Bears offense is almost as bad as the Buccaneers offense. So Justin Fields likes to scramble a lot. So I think he's going to get those rushing attempts. Darnell Mooney, because, the Patriots have a really good defense, they're not going to be completing a lot of passes. The Patriots get that lead, so they're going to run the crap out of the ball, which doesn't have Mac Jones throwing it a ton. Right. And, the offense of the Patriots is good, but it's not great. So I think 2 field goals is very much in reach. So those are my picks for Underdog Fantasy. Ride with me, fade me. Just make sure you're going on Underdog Fantasy. Once again, the promo code is Pewter, Pewter.
So we've got a short week here in terms of preparation, but in case you don't know, we're not going to do a podcast tomorrow. We're going to stick with our schedule and have a podcast on Wednesday. That's going to be our Ravens preview. Now we will have Byron Leftwich and Todd Tom Brady at the podium tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned, or stick around for our great stories on pewterreport.com, because we will have some post press conference from that. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have our next Pewter Report podcast at 4:00. That's going to be the preview. And then we're going to have, obviously, the game. And we're going to be at the Wesley Chapel Walk-Ons. And we were there on Sunday, had a great time. Leighton Carter, one of our longest subscribers back in the day and supporters. Yeah, he was there. And we want everybody to show up. 6:15 is what time we're going to take the air for the Celsius Pewter Report tailgate show. And that's live with John Gilmore, the former Bucs tight end. Myself and JC Allen will be there. That starts at 6:15. That's going to carry you right into Matt Matera, Casey Hudson, live in-game analysis, Pewter Game Day for the Bucs and Ravens, 8:15 on Thursday. And then, and of course, there's our promo for the Pewter Report tailgate show presented by Age Rejuvenation. And that means we're going to have a day after game Pewter Report podcast on Friday. We usually don't do podcasts on Friday, but we're going to do one on Friday because there's a game on Thursday. Then we're taking the weekend off, but there's going to be plenty of great content. I'm already working on some stories for this weekend. I've got some stories coming up for tomorrow. We've got our Pewter predictions and preview on Wednesday, but we're going to have great content and game coverage all week long.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. And one last thing I want to talk about real quick. With Antoine Winfield Jr. being out, the bank in the secondary, and it's eerily reminding me of last season. Good question here from Emily. What happens if we actually look good Thursday? We'll give the Bucs some praise for beating a solid Ravens team. Yeah. Without question. But the secondary reminded me of last season when they just had so many injuries that, Richard Sherman had to play after 3 practices, and then he got hurt like a week later because he didn't have enough time to get ready. So not totally sure whether or not Carlton Davis is going to be there or be available for Thursday. Antoine Winfield Jr. is likely going to be out. That's what Todd Bowles said this week. Right. So we're talking about Jamel Dean as cornerback 1, rookie Zyon McCollum as quarterback 2, and he struggled last week. I actually asked Larry Foote about that today, so going to need a bounce back from him. And, depth at safety now is a huge issue because you have Mike Edwards and Keanu Neal, and that's about it. You got a rookie in Nolan Turner, but I don't think the Bucs want to run into a situation where it's an all rookie secondary. So that's definitely a big question heading into Thursday night's game. So I'll just play a quick video of Larry Foote talking about Zyon McCollum and issues that the defense have had with allowing scores late. So let's hear from co-defensive coordinator Larry Foote.
Orleans, with these last 3 weeks, it's just been empty.
Well, we had a few opportunities up front. We got to get them 3rd and long. The quarterbacks want to, hold the ball and try to push it downfield so we can get sacks and pick the ball off. Of course, we had a couple opportunities, not a lot, but we got to get the ball out. We know in this league, if you're creating turnovers, the chance of you guys winning goes up.
Coach, what was your assessment of Zyon McCollum in his first career start and his 3rd career game?
Yeah, a couple rookie moments. I shared a little story with him my rookie year, and the older guys, they wanted me off the field. It comes with it, but really challenged him how you gonna respond this week, and just growing pains as a rookie, and you can't get around it. But he gotta, keep his confidence and come back fighting.
We talked about.
And another thing I want to hear about right now is age rejuvenation.
As we age, our hormones decrease, both for men and women.
I was tired all the time, had no sex drive.
I was groggy.
I felt like I was 80 years old because everything hurt.
I came to age rejuvenation because I was tired all the time.
Bioidentical hormones has really made such an impact in people's lives.
I actually enjoy shopping now.
Got all my energy back.
Mind is sharp.
I feel like I'm 18 again.
It was perfect for me.
Get with age rejuvenation. Do it now. Don't wait.
Call Age Rejuvenation today.
All right, I've got a confession to make here. I've been telling you that I'm 50, but I'm actually not. I'm 35, but I feel 50 because this team is aging me. Okay, I feel like I'm aging as I watch this team, and I'm getting older. No, I'm kidding. I am 50, but here's the thing: I felt 50 earlier this year. Ever since I've gone to age rejuvenation, like my good friend John Gilmore, who is with us on the Pewter Tailgate shows every game day. I feel younger. I really feel like I'm 40. I feel like I'm 10 years younger. The first thing I noticed was I was sleeping better at night because I've not been sleeping well for years. Haven't had a lot of energy for years. Should have done this years ago, but I got the testosterone therapy at age rejuvenation. I started sleeping better. Then I woke up. I had more energy. I didn't need 2 Celsius a day. Sometimes I'll partake, but and I love Celsius, have them in the morning, but I literally needed to just to get through the day because I didn't have any energy. So go to Age Rejuvenation, lose weight, feel great. You might have seen Age Rejuvenation as the new sponsor for my Fab 5 column. They're, of course, the presenting sponsor for the Celsius Pewter Report Tailgate Show. And as I told you, myself, John Gilmore, and my wife, Ashley, we are Age Rejuvenation clients. So that's right. They even do age rejuvenation hormone therapy for women too. And it's different, of course. It's formulated differently. But it makes a difference. It really does. It's something I wish I would have looked into years ago, like 45 rather than 50. Low testosterone, it's normal. It happens in most men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's nature. It's nothing to be embarrassed about or hide from. It's just your body just doesn't produce as much anymore as you get older. But with the testosterone therapy, you can fight that and feel younger, get back to how you used to feel back in the day. And visit agerejuvenation.com, 5 Tampa Bay area locations to serve you, and lose weight, feel great, and actually get better sleep at night too. That's an added bonus for me.
That's right. Yeah. Who doesn't like having a good night of sleep? Before we get out of here, just real quick, thank you, Daniel, for the $4.99 super chat. If you super chat us, even late in the show, we will make sure we get into it.
Yeah.
He says, how come Light isn't getting any blame for this debacle?
Mm-hmm.
Almost every veteran free agent signing has been a whiff. Plus, did nothing to improve the offensive guard spot. We've talked a lot about how they took a gamble with a lot of veteran guys that do have an injury history, and it's kind of blown up in their face with that. And they thought they were improving the offensive line by drafting Luke Goedeke, but that hasn't worked out either. So they tried to improve the team. They did take some risks, and maybe they thought they were calculated risks, but hasn't worked.
Yeah. And even a couple of years ago, my SR's Fab 5 column, the lead was the Bucs free agents, the newcomers, really, not so much the rookies, but we'll give them a pass. But the veteran free agents, Matt, I mean, I called them out. Like they're not really stepping up and doing much, right? And so I did say that it is fair. I do think Jason Light overall has done a really good job as a general manager, and we can spend the whole show going through all of his positives, but he's not without blame. He's not perfect, right? And this is one of those things. Kyle Rudolph, Julio Jones, they're not helping the team, right? I mean, Akeem Hicks, he's hurt. Logan Ryan, he's hurt. It's not good, right? And you are which your players how they perform, right? And the guys I mentioned aren't playing, or if you're Kyle Rudolph, you're getting beaten out by 2 rookies. The personnel department has let this team down, but at the same time, this personnel department did build a Super Bowl winner, and they're going to have a bigger challenge on their hand moving forward in 2023 when Tom Brady probably won't be here. And we'll see, and we'll keep an objective eye on the personnel department and on the coaching staff to see how this team rebounds. But first things first, Got a big game coming up on Thursday. We got an even bigger show coming up on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We invite all of you to be there to Pewter Report TV on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're hitting the like button and give us the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Matt, I think mission accomplished. Even though the Buccaneers did not have a Victory Monday, it was a Victory Monday for us. This is the best show we've ever done.
It has been. It's an honor to be a part of history with you and everyone watching and listening. So appreciate everyone. And for Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying we will see everybody on Wednesday for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.